Hey everyone, welcome back to This Week at Naked and Famous Denim. Today we've got an episode to die for, but before we get into those details, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. All right, let me come around to the front here, just ignore what's going on right here. And starting from the top, I have my frog skin herringbone twill cap. This, well, it's not really vintage, but old velveteen t-shirt that we stocked once upon a time. My black thick belt. Wow, look at that wear rubbing up on something there. And MIJ 17s going strong, slowly fading but surely. Really enjoying these, super comfortable and relaxed. On the feet I have my Dure DeVille socks, the merino ones, and then I have on the Wesco Mr. Lou's. Okay, Chris, special guest Chris, what are you wearing today?
Hello everyone. Wearing my Naked and Famous Denim strong tee in black. Yategarasu strong guys. Finally seeing some fades here. My thick belt as well, and classic chucks. That's it. No accessories for me.
Vinny, you want to go? Sure.
What's good, guys? It's your boy Vinny. All right, today we got the navy bandeezy on.
We got the black circular knit tee.
The G-Shock 5000 DW 5000.
Do we still have these?
I actually don't know.
Sold out.
Okay,
We need
we're
to get
sold
more.
out. We gotta get more.
We got the Empire State of Mind, New York. And we got the
Newbies.
550.
How long you been wearing these Empire States?
I've been wearing these for a couple years now, I think.
Wrong.
But
well,
I got
not
these,
every
like-
day.
I think like I've worn like
I got these like 2 years ago or something like that. I don't remember, but we're on the fast track to wearing these for a year straight, so I could get a free pair of MIJs and fade them really hard.
My turn. I'm gonna wrap up this little fit check over there with a little Terry bottom to top. What am I wearing today? On the bottom for the footsies, I got the Goro X Naked Famous Denim 32-ounce black heavyweight sneakers. These are rapidly turning to my daily drivers. Not really fading on there, that's just warehouse dust that you're seeing there, but they're finally kind of broken in and they're a lot more comfortable. Like I mentioned before, these are actually like really heavy duty sneakers. A bit of a break in time required. Surprised me, I'm not used to breaking in sneakers, but I like it. It means they're tough. On the legsies, I got the old Hedora True Guys over here. I love the unsanforized denim, nothing quite like it. Fantastic faders. They got several washes on these there. Really just coming into their own. I never thought I was a black jean guy, but maybe I am. Maybe I'm a black jean guy there. On the chesticle, I have from Wonderlooper the Amani hand-dyed challenge by Doro Max ELS shirt. This, of course, is the nice little like kind of the hand-dyed like tree plus like mud type of shirt from One Looper. I think we still have one left in this, a couple other colors as well. I went for the darkest one after Chris's recommendation. Thank you, Christopher. Of course, just like Vinny, I got the G-Shock on the wrist and kind of a black ball cap to kind of round out the black accessories here.
Have you washed this once yet?
I have not washed this actually. I think it's unwashed. It remains unwashed.
Curious to see how it fades.
Yeah. I do. I mean, it feels washed already because it got like dyed and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, what's new in the warehouse here at Naked Famous Denim headquarters right in Montreal? Well, we got a couple little things I'd like to talk about. First of all, as far as new little restocks, we've had a couple of new unbranded brand jeans get added to our inventory. So if you're holding on to some of those sizes, do take a look at our websites, especially things like 34s and 36s and our core unbranded fabrics like the 14.5 ounce and the 11 ounce. But in bigger news, we have some mugs coming out today. I have them all highlighted over the back over here. I want to kind of bring them up my favorite way possible.
Don't drop them now, boy.
Zero risk over here because they stack so sturdy. Look at that there. I'm going to unstack them. So we're having a... There you go. we have a new shipment of mugs that finally arrived, and we're gonna be putting them on the shelves for you guys to buy this Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, usual time and place. You might remember. You might remember these guys, of course. We got the jade, we got the delphite, and we have the white with the red text. But new for 2026, we have this lovely sakura pink over here. I think it's magnificent, and I think it goes really, really well with the rest of it. Just imagine that. Look at that. Imagine that in the pantry drawer. I have a nice little tea time over there with like your little like square biscuits with the different colors on them, real grandma style over there. Yeah, I like them. So definitely make sure to take a look at our website at 11 a.m. Eastern this Thursday if you're interested in getting some new milk glass mugs that are made in Japan. But that's not all. We got a couple of bit more updates I'd like to share with you as well in terms of unbranded. We have a new fabric, a new seasonal unbranded fabric. This does not happen every day. This fabric, I'm just going to show you off here. This is a new 14.5-ounce black slubby. So I know you guys have an insatiable demand for black jeans. Oh, we got a big old blast of unbranded black denim. I'm going to turn on the back here. I chose a nice big size to get maximum, character on there. Let that be see that slub. Kind of get a feel for how it'll look there. So these, of course, are also launching at 11 a.m. Eastern, but on the unbrandedbrand.com there. So that's where you can pick them up. Of course, we got a bunch of fits, including the very popular wide and straight fit, which we've recently added to unbranded. So that's what we have for new products kind of launching here at our headquarters, and I'm happy to share with you. As for our feature there, we wonder what's this elephant over in the room? What's going on over here with this kettle? Who's making a stew, a tea? What kind of mad scientist is getting busy here in the lab? Well, I'm gonna leave that to Garrett to kind of explain.
All right, so
Oh, you've got some ideas. Let me rescue these mugs.
in the past, we've done natural indigo dye, we've done iron dye, and to continue that theme, to continue the series, we're going to try something else. So we'll be back in just a second. All right, we're back here, joined by natural dye expert Chris.
Expert.
He does this at home for fun.
For fun, yes.
It's a true story. And so today, I thought we would do some natural dyes that you can do by buying stuff just at your grocery store. So I kind of thought about it, and I talked to Chris, and we thought that one that'd be really good is actually pomegranate dye. The reason is because most people at their grocery store, they have pomegranate. So this is kind of what it looks like on the outside.
Definitely not a rock.
If you're not familiar. And this is what it looks like on the inside. But the cool thing about pomegranates is that most natural dyes, you have to create the dye, and then you have to add what they call like a mordant, or basically something to fix the color to the fiber. But the cool thing about the pomegranates, well, I'll let you explain. What's the cool thing about the pomegranates?
Basically, there's just enough tannin in it that you don't need to do any mordanting. You can just dye it, and after washing, it'll stay dyed. It won't lose. It'll lose a little bit maybe, but it will still be a pretty dark color.
What color will we get from the pomegranate?
You get like a lightish yellow, almost brownish, kind of maybe like a, I want to say almost like a fox fabric color.
Okay, interesting. All right, so we have I just want to show you guys what a pomegranate looks like if you're not familiar.
Still not a rock.
A lot of them come from India, some of them come from the United States. I'm not sure where this one came from. But anyways, I chopped them all up, and then I removed all of the seeds and the flesh from the inside, because what you're going to be dyeing with is not the seeds, even though they're bright red, is you're going to be dyeing with the peels here. That's where all the tannins and the dye is concentrated. So over here, ideally you want to do this beforehand and dry them out, but because I don't have that time, we're just going to go straight into it. So we have our pot of water here with, how many liters of water is this?
About 3 liters, I think.
3 liters of water, and we have 8 pomegranates worth of skins here. And so we want to bring this up to a simmer, and right now it is, let's see, 82, 83-ish. So is that okay?
Yeah, good enough. Good enough.
So what temperature is like ideal?
They say between 80 and 90 is good for pomegranate skins.
Alright.
Usually I use pomegranate rinds, and you just you don't even need to really boil. You just put it into a simmer, and then you strain it after that, and then you dip your shirt or your fabric into it.
By the way, this is my own hot plate here that I use for doing hot pot. By the way. All right, so we're gonna put in the pomegranate skins. Try not to splash out down here.
So technically, right, Terry?
It's the pom part which is important, not the granite.
Those go in.
By the way, if you haven't tried eating them as opposed to just dyeing them, you can eat the fruit and then use the skin to dye. That's kind of just like a 1 for 2, like a 1
Is
for
it
2
an
deal.
aphrodisiac?
To my knowledge, it is not an aphrodisiac.
Sorry, boys.
The peels are in here right now already. You can smell the fragrance coming out, and if you stir it with our patented stirring device, you can kind of see the yellow is coming
If you
out.
had a spoon, you could really see
Oh,
it. But
yeah.
yeah, you could see it already.
Looks like apple juice.
Yeah, it smells good too.
Yeah, who did?
I find some of our jeans come smelling a bit like this.
The lens is all steamy. We're gonna let this
hold
simmer for about an hour, and then we'll be back. And we're back. It's been 1 hour here, and if you take a look as I stir it, you can see that our pomegranates have reduced into kind of like a mush, but there's quite a nice yellowy tone. So because of all these chunks, we don't want to get these chunks all over the things that we're dyeing. So we're gonna pour it out here. So Chris, come over here. Tell us the technique.
Wash those hands. Basically, you just pour it through. What we're using is not a typical cheesecloth or anything, but I even use this at home all the time, just a piece of fabric. So I just pour it slowly. Sometimes I put an elastic, sometimes I don't. You can tighten it a little bit just so it has some, like, I just kind of like tighten it high up there, you know. But you can see it's already
It's going
turning
very
green.
slow.
Yeah, it'll go kind of slow. That's why at the end I kind of like squish it through. So that, but you can see the fabric's already turning a little bit of a color here. Yeah, just watch out.
That's it.
Yep.
You gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie
man.
numbers.
I should. I could.
Look at that satisfaction. It's very hot on my hand though. So I'll let it, you can see how quick it's going though.
And by the way, don't boil it.
Yeah, don't boil it.
At the end of this video,
There's a lot of dye here though. And then you mix it into some water. So
Here, we got some more liquid.
yeah, we got some more. So you want to wet the shirts first so that they absorb more. How weird is that?
I know, it's like counterintuitive. Okay, so I got some wet t-shirts
I think you
here.
can already see from Garrett's hands some color on there.
Oh yeah, it's true.
So I wouldn't do all at once.
No, we'll do one at a
You
time.
need free-flowing fabric in there. You don't want to dilute the dye too much. But you want your fabric to be free-flowing enough in the water. So like this is too scrunched. You're gonna get like variations of dye here. So you might want a little more water in there. Oh yeah. If you want to do that, that works too. Yeah.
There?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
Oh, we can always add more.
Yeah. You just want the fabric to move kind of freely. Want to do the honors?
Sure. I always try to not get air bubbles in it too.
Yeah. Should be
It's
fine.
warm but not too hot.
just like the kiddie pool.
Do you need to bring it out to let air touch it or no?
I would leave it like this, probably for like 20 minutes at the minimum. And then when you take it out, you'd like rinse it. Give it a little rinse, a little squeeze, and then you hang dry it. And the air does oxidize it a little bit, so it gets a little darker, I'd
To
say.
see how.
But when it's wet, yeah, see already. A little yellow. Should darken quite a bit in the next 20 minutes. Some people leave it overnight completely. They leave it for a long time, so it depends on how saturated you want it. And then like some people, they dip it in iron mordant later, so like ferrous sulfate, and that'll give you like green or gray or something like that. Obviously, as it dries, it lightens a little bit too, because like everything's
It's wet.
darker when it's wet. But I'm impressed.
That's a nice
Interesting.
crew color.
Yeah, it's a nice color.
So I think what we'll do with these is we'll dye them all, and then probably on the next live stream, maybe tomorrow if you're watching this on the day come out, we'll give them away. So if you're interested in one of these hand-dyed pomegranate t-shirts, make sure you tune in live tomorrow for the live stream, and I'll give away these shirts to the people. I think I got like 6 here or so. So I'm gonna dye them all, and tune in to the live stream tomorrow to see the final result and how they finally look. All right, back to you, Terry.
And we're back. I hope you enjoyed that sticky pomegranate dying 7 over there with Garrett. I have no idea how it went, so tell me what you thought about it in the comments below in our chat. I'm eager to see what happens to our t-shirts. But that means it's the end of the video now there, where I gotta do a little word of the week segment. So last week's word was a very apt one considering all the crazy weather we've been having around the world. So last week's word was kokushobi, which means cruelly hot. It's been cruelly hot in many places in the world. It's kind of an actual official term from the Japanese Meteorological Agency. So next time the weather is really hot, you say, how hot is it? You can say kokushobi. As for this week's, keeping on the theme of, I would just say, meteorology and the world, we have from Garrett, he has a word is albedo. So albedo is the word of the week for this week. Put that in the comment section of your order to win a little prize from us. Also some extra stickers and some kind words of love. Wondering who won the prize last week? Wonder no longer. I have all the way from Columbia, MD.
What state is that?
MD, let us know what state MD is. Maryland?
Maryland.
Maryland. Land of Marys. Michael from Columbia. Michael ordered a pair of Frankenstein True Guy, which is getting them hemmed. They're in the alteration department right now. So excellent choice on those Frankensteins. We had to choose a suitably wild tie for you. So while you're wearing your Frankensteins, take a look at this classy and snazzy dead stock mushroom tie. That's right, an official naked. Whoa, I can't get. I don't want to damage your tie here. I'll show it out anyway. Enjoy this lovely tie over here, Michael. Wear it to the next formal event that you're invited to. Job interviews, weddings, bar mitzvahs, or whatever. You name it, I think you'll be a great with this there. Anyway, that's all for our video today. Huge thank you to everybody who watched our video. Enjoy our little science section last week and this week. We'll keep them coming. As always, be kind to each other. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.